Don't mind the mess, but I thought I would share with you guys the finished results of the renovations that I have been doing to this porch. So, as you can clearly see, the door is done. This is the same door that had the Jalousie windows in it. Removed the Jalousie windows, added this 5 foot by 2 foot sheet of tempered glass that had to be custom cut and heat treated for safety reasons. You can see I have brought the Jalousie windows back to life. These windows, they're really, I really thought about it long and hard. What do I want to do with this room? And I decided, well, with Amelia's support, that we're going to keep this as a 4-season porch. Or a 3-season porch. I think a 4-season porch is insulated and can be used in the winter, but this is a spring, summer, fall 3-season porch. And in doing that, keeping the Jalousie windows, not only from an aesthetic standpoint, but from a functional standpoint, made the most sense. So I put a little bit of effort in restoring them, while repairing them. The problem with these windows from day one is that glass would randomly fall out of them as the rivets that held the glass clips in place were breaking off. The original rivets were a very, very weak, very poor quality aluminum rivet, and I have replaced them with a more durable, modern equivalent. And look at how nice and easy they open. In doing all of the work to keep these working and functional, I had to work on all of the gearboxes. I took every gearbox off and flushed them out with brake cleaner. And again, excuse the mess. We're doing some rearranging and cleaning and stuff, so this is kind of becoming a catch-all. But the gearboxes had to be taken apart, cleaned, and re-lubricated. And the good news is they all survived. They all still work. I was missing half the cranks, so I had to obtain replacement cranks. What I did is I got these T-handle cranks to replace the original aluminum window type cranks. I couldn't actually find the correct size cranks for these windows, for these window operators, as they're called. They are a 9/32 spline shaft, and those are not a very common size. So the only ones I could find were these T-handles. They come in white or almond. I went with almond, and I think they're going to look nice for the long haul. Getting back to the exterior, let's take a look. So I'm doing the oil change in the Miata right now, so got some time to kill. But this is what it looks like from the exterior. This lamp right here, I installed to replace the one that I bought 5 years ago. And in doing that, I also moved the entire fixture over about 2 inches to kind of get it closer to the center. It looked kind of stupid when it was far off to the side like that. Went with a brushed aluminum or brushed nickel finish on all the hardware, the numbers, the knobs, even the doorbell. I love this door though. You'll see that I added this molding on the bottom, and this is to help kick the water further away from the door during heavy rain, and so far it has worked. Water was still coming into the house because, well, if you look at how where this door seal lines up, I'll clean this up a little bit, but it lines up. It should be further in the middle here, but because of the non-standard size of this door opening, I could not get it to land in the right spot. But looking at it now, yeah, no, that was the issue, because if I flip this around, it would be even further outboard, which we don't want. In order to make this line up correctly, I'd have to have this pushed back, which I didn't want. Yeah, that paint will come off get some mineral spirits. That'll clean that right up. Now this paint is very dirty already. It didn't take very long, but so far so good. It's holding up okay. This paint is actually still kind of punky. It's going to take a while for it to fully cure. But over here, you can see I've got, I don't know if I filmed this previously, but I have this, I built out this kind of supporting structure for the windows. I built it out a little bit with PVC trim, and I put some flashing behind the trim, and that's going to, again, deflect water away from this. See, what was happening is water was pooling on top of this this foundation, or this slab, and that water would eventually weep underneath. It just wasn't a good situation. But you can see I built it out. I made it look kind of nice. It looks like it was done, you know, for aesthetics, but it's really for a functional reason. But door came out perfect. I'm very, very happy with it. I got the door latches. Now, door latch alignment is something that takes experience and skill to get them lined up just right, especially when you're dealing with a fairly non-standard door frame. The one thing I don't really like, all right, so again, getting back to the Jalousie windows. So we have these, some of these screens are actually from the 50s. There are a couple of original metal screens still here. I think these are them. Yeah, there's one of them. They are aluminum screens. They have never been replaced. And I think it's time that we do something about it. So what I want to do is I'm going to find somebody who does screens, custom screens, and I'm just going to have them make me 6 new ones. I'm going to give them the dimensions, let them deal with it. And I'm going to go with pet resistant screens. They're a little heavier in terms of, I mean, our cats generally don't pick apart these screens, but they have been known to climb them, Oreo especially. They have climbed the screens. I caught Oreo up there when he was a little kitten. I caught him way up there. Yeah, wasn't happy about that. But cats are going to do what cats are going to do. You know, you can't change their behavior, but you can adjust the environment to compensate for it. So we're going to get some pet-resistant screens made up. And for the winter, now this is the key, this is the clincher here. For the winter, I'm going to get some screen frames fitted with plastic film. So let's talk a minute about the benefits of Jalousie windows. I think that they're a little bit underrated in a few ways. He's a smart cat. He knows not to jump out. So Jalousie windows are really good at 2 things. Number 1 is airflow. When you have these things open, you can open them up like this, horizontally. I generally don't do that because we leave them in the same position all season long. We usually leave them open this far, about 45 degrees, throughout spring, summer, and fall, early fall. And then in the winter months, we close them down. But if you were to open them up entirely all the way, you get an unobstructed view of the outside from both sides of the porch. That is something that no other product in the market can give you. That also does this. When you get those occasional rainstorms, those you're out somewhere shopping somewhere and a rainstorm comes in, you don't have to panic and think, oh crap, did I leave my windows open? Because at 45 degrees, these will shed almost all the rain. I have never had a problem with rain coming in when they're at this angle. And if you want to be more cautious, you can close them a little bit more. But they do those 2 things really well, better than any other product in the market. So I can leave them open and not have to worry about it. Downfall is spiders love them. We get a lot of spiders in these windows. It's a pain in the ass. I have not been able to find a solution for that. But, you know, whatever. I'll pick my battles. I can deal with spiders. Now there are other options. I'll talk about those. So the more modern approach that you'll see typically done in a newer house today, or even in a retrofit or a restoration or renovation, is they actually make purpose-built porch windows, and they're generally made out of a they call them 4-track windows, and there's 4 individual panes, and they interlock when you open them or close them. They collapse together, they open up together, and they'll congregate either on the top or the bottom. And usually they're filled not with glass, but with that polyplastic film stuff. They're actually quite nice. They're very durable. They should last a good long while, but they're very expensive. I mean, we'd be talking thousands of dollars just for this and that. I don't have the budget for that right now. So not only that, but the plastic film can get pricey too if it has to be replaced. My girlfriend's great aunt, actually has those in her porch, and they're very beautiful. They're very nice. They look good. But once again, you can't just leave them open all season long. You can just open them and forget them, because rain, just like any open window, water will come in, especially wind-driven water or rain. So those were not really on my short list of options. It's like, I don't want to spend the money, and there is a huge downfall to those. Alternatively, and these cost even more, but you can have a rack of thermopane awning windows made up. So you can get windows made for any application, any style, the options are endless. And I've seen this done on other houses, where you'll have like maybe 4 awning windows stacked. Like you divide that height by 4, and those awning windows can be independently, or I believe they're generally independently operated. So you'd have a crank on each one, and they open up like an awning, like these do. But they're just expensive as hell, and they would provide some of the rain resistance. But I feel like the 3 or 4 inch slats do a better job of that. Just my opinion and from experience. So we're keeping the Jalousies for now. I have been able to successfully repair them and bring them back to a functioning state. I no longer have to worry about glass falling out, because I have re-riveted every single glass clip. I have repaired every operator and replaced every crank. We're good. And aesthetics-wise, I feel like they fit in well with this neighborhood. This is a neighborhood of all mid-century homes, and some of them still have their Jalousie windows, this being one of them. And of course, we've got one of my favorite houses, which is diagonally across the street from us, but it also has Jalousies. The house directly across from us has a sliding glass door that you can't see, but it's an old aluminum one, probably from the 60s. Nevertheless, I'm happy with these results, and I think with nice new screens for the fall, summer, and spring, it will look even better. Now, once I do that, I'm going to clean up the aluminum. I'm going to get a Brillo pad. I'm actually going to use my air compressor. I'm going to get one of those rotating discs with the Brillo pad on it, and I'm going to clean up all of this aluminum. It's going to look great. Really going to look nice. I'm happy I can save this little bit of mid-century architecture for the time being, and at minimal cost. Now, the back door, this door is not staying for long. Next year, I'm going to reframe this. I'm going to put a proper door frame in here. I'm going to get I'm going to try to find a similar design door to what I've got up front. A wooden door, cut to size, do it right. And of course, I repeated that rain shedding feature over here, so the water will no longer pool on the slab, which is about 1 inch bigger than it needs to be on each side. Normally you would have the wall at the edge of the slab, but clearly they couldn't do that, so that's why we have this. So all the necessary repairs have been made. And this door is not going to stay. No. So one of the reasons I want to put in plastic is for the seasonal changes, where you've got in the early spring and sometimes even late fall, where you've got, this room is nice and warm, or sorry, nice and cold in the mornings, and then a breeze comes through. With these jalousies fully closed, air still gets through them very easily. So, which is why you need the storm windows that I talked about earlier. But water will condense, or air, vapor will condense over every surface in this room when a warm breeze comes through on a cold morning. And it's kind of annoying. It's like it starts to rain in here sometimes. Let's talk about the floor for a second, or at least the part of the floor that you can see. I did an epoxy painted floor on here, and it did not hold up. It is peeling and chipping everywhere. So just like the one before it and the one before that, this concrete does not have a vapor barrier like it's supposed to. So you can't paint a concrete floor that does not have a vapor barrier. That is a fact. It's an inconvenient fact, but it's a fact. So what we're gonna do, I'm going in between two options. One of them is I have to grind off all of this paint. There's an alkylid paint, a red alkylid paint below what you see on the surface, and it cannot be stripped. It will not come up. It has to be ground off. So I've got to rent a floor grinder and grind the floor. Then I'm going to put plank tile flooring in, or some kind of a tile floor. I haven't decided exactly what, but it would have to be a tile floor. And that would be totally moisture and vapor resistant, whatever. It'll last a long time. Alternatively, there is a low-cost solution that doesn't require me to grind anything. There are now in 2023, there are plenty of floating floor products that are weather resistant, water resistant, just plain durable as all shit. They're made out of vinyl. There's no wood or wood byproducts. And I got a couple of samples from Lowe's, and I'm really liking the way it's going to look. These can be done in a weekend or less, and they don't glue down or anything. The only thing I would do is I'd put a bead of caulking in front of every exterior door, just so that water that does come in doesn't seep underneath. I'm leaning towards that because it's the lowest cost solution, and I think it'll look really nice. I think it'll look great. And these are like think of it like as think of a pergo floor made out of vinyl. So the durability is there, and the longevity is there. I would never use a pergo floor anywhere in any house that I have my name attached to. Pergo, Bruce, whatever style selections, whatever the house brands are, Lumber Liquidators, laminate flooring is the worst. I think the fad is finally over, and it's funny because vinyl makes a better simulated wood floor than laminate. Funny how that is, but it's true. Lasts longer, stands up to water much better. So, I've only seen one laminate floor in my life that I liked, and it was a friend of mine who lives down in Connecticut, and he had a little bit of money to spend, so he bought a good quality laminate that simulates scraped oak, I think it is, and it looks amazing. It feels amazing. It's just great. But every other laminate floor product that I've seen has been absolute dog shit. And when you walk on it and you hear the tackiness, how can I describe the sound? It just sounds cheap. It looks cheap. I don't like them. My parents have a laminate floor in their house, and it's already falling apart. And the floor is only a couple years old. So anyway, vinyl plank, that's the solution. And you can get the thick stuff or the thin stuff. I think I'm going to go with the thin stuff because I don't want to raise the floor any higher. I want to keep this in place. This is actually anchored down from inside. I built this. I built this step a long time ago. And it is anchored down really well to the concrete. At least I think it is. Yeah, it's good enough. So to take this off, to reuse it, I would have to, I don't know. I don't think I can. I'd have, you know what? No, there's no good way to do it. Because the oak step is screwed down, and I put, I surface mounted, well, I knocked in some wooden dowels where the screws are. So I'd have to drill those out and then without ruining the screws. There's no good way to do that. So I want to try to keep this here and then work around it. I think that's my goal. So fun, you know, this is just regular polyurethane, by the way, Minwax. It's held up pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with that, actually. Just good old Minwax polyurethane. That's all it is. So anyway, that's where we're at in 2023. It took me, this project is so far over budget, I don't even care anymore. The cranks alone cost me $70. The glass was $145. The numbers were $20. The paint, I've got about probably $60 in paint. Just for the door. Just for the fucking door. A knob was reused from 5 years ago. The trim, the moldings, all of that. I'm probably a couple $100 in simulated wood and all that. Yeah, it's expensive. Caulking. The light fixture was $80. That was $80. Like, damn. So not only does buying a house cost a fortune, fixing one also costs a fortune. But I'm lucky I was able to buy a house when you could actually buy a house in the U.S. and other countries. I was fortunate. I got this house for a song by today's standards, and it's now worth 3 times what I paid for it. So I think I'm doing okay. So every dime I put into it, I know it's not a dime wasted. You know what I mean? Like if I had bought, let's say I originally planned on buying an older mobile home, okay, in a mobile home park. That was my plan at one point. And the difference with that is every dime you put into it, you're not going to get it back, especially if it's an older one. And so I was going to put, $20,000 in repairs into the damn thing and buy it for $50 or whatever I was planning on spending. But it was going to cost me, and you don't get any of that back. You buy a house on a foundation, on a piece of property, a small piece of property in this case. Every dime you put into it is a dime earned, So I look at it, well, not earned, but a dime not wasted. Yeah, there we go. So an $800 garage door, whatever, shit like that. It's actually adding value to a house that's appreciating in value by itself. So, I mean, we got lucky. I tell you, it's a shame that if I had to buy this house again for what it's worth today, there's no fucking way. I'd be living in a refrigerator box with what my budget is. That's so sad. That's so fucking sad. Anyway, I didn't mean to go into a rant, but anyway, I got an oil change to do, so I better get on that before I get screamed at for working in my nice clothes. Till then, guys, thank you for watching.